part of the former Soviet Union. Taking on Gabriel Rosado, who his promoter, Russell Peltz, had asked for a catch weight for this fight at 158 pounds, which Головкин agreed upon, but Rosado said, no, I'm moving up to his weight class. I'll fight at middleweight. Time for the introductions. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Triple World Championship action continues here on HBO Boxing After Dark, and it's all brought to you by Bob Arum's Top Rank Boxing and K2 Promotions. This contest presented in association with Peltz, sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, the World Boxing Association, and the International Boxing Organization. At ringside, the three judges scoring this bout will be Glenn Feldman, Tom Miller, and John Potteray. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, referee Steve Smoger. And now, Madison Square Garden, are you ready? 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA IBO Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red, blue, and white, official weight 159 pounds. His professional record, 21 victories, including 15 knockouts with 5 defeats. From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, North Philly to be exact, here is the challenger, Gabriel King Rosado. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing white, officially weighing 160 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 24 bouts, 24 victories, including 21 knockouts, giving him the greatest KO ratio in middleweight championship history. From Karaganda, Kazakhstan, the undefeated WBA IBO middleweight champion of the world, the Kazakh KO King, Gennady Triple G Головкин.
We're given your instructions in your separate dressing room. Please abide my commands. Respect the bell, and above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. God bless you both.
The thing about being as dangerous and avoided as Головkin is that while you're waiting for the big names in the division to fight you, that rung right underneath them, the Proxas, tonight, Rosado, young, real fighters who would like nothing more than to pull off an upset. That's who you got to get through.
Головkin with 5 first-round knockouts in his career. Rosado has 2. Головkin has never been down as a pro or an amateur.
See Головkin putting a lot of pressure right now. He's sending a message to Rosado that, hey, I'm a middleweight and you're a 154-pounder.
Well, Rosado does have some pop, and Головkin does not move his head exceptionally well.
Andre, how big of a difference is this with Rosado coming up in the weight? He told his promoter, forget about the catch weight, I'll fight him at 160.
Well, it's only 6 pounds, and I don't want to make it seem like it's not a big deal, but as long as Rosado feels like it's okay and he's mentally in the right place, which it seems like he is, I think he'll be okay. Головkin looks a little bit more muscular, but actually Rosado is holding his own in terms of size.
Rosado has been mentored by fellow Philadelphia fighter Bernard Hopkins. Been to 5 camps with Hopkins. He said of his 5 losses, they've told me how to win, helped season me because of his lack of an amateur background.
Nice defensive moves there from Rosado. Головkin also pretty good at cutting off the ring. He makes his opponent, who he always seems to be chasing, move more than he does. As he's trying to get inside, they're trying to move away.
Big short right hand inside by Головкин. Thumping right hand from Головkin. Rosado blocks some of it.
Making Rosado work real hard in this first round, giving up a lot of energy. Every punch Головkin throws has bad intentions on it. Even a jab.
It's been a defensive first round to this point for Rosado.
He's done better than Proxa did at this point in the fight. Proxa's a good fighter.
End of round number one. Well, our first bout of the evening had Rocky Martinez keeping his 130-pound title with a draw against Juan Carlos Burgos. This is the locker room of Juan Carlos Burgos. Thumbs up. Kind of hard to believe that he didn't win. Just continue to change. We will bring you those updates throughout the course of the night. Головкin 10 of 45 in the round. Rosado 7 of 38.
Головkin just wants to land a big shot. He makes no secret about it that that's what he's here to do, is get a knockout. But Rosado's got two things going on. Number one, he's got to win rounds, but he's also got to get some respect. So that means at some point he's going to have to open up.
It was an understandably tentative round from Rosado in the first. Based on Головkin's experience and his previous fight. See if Rosado starts to take Головkin's measure a little bit here in the second and engage a little bit more.
That jab got his attention.
Головkin, very patient when he's in the ring. Goes that right hand to the ear. Defense by Rosado to dip away from any danger.
Rosado looks like he has a little cut over his left eye.
Good right hand from Головkin. Puts Rosado on the retreat.
Головkin, even when it seems like he's not landing anything, he hits you hard enough with those short punches to open up a cut.
Good counter right from Rosado.
Good jab from Головkin, and then a right hand. And there's blood on the left eye of Rosado. Considering that there's been no clinches for referee Steve Smoger to separate the two, I'm going to assume that came from a punch.
I think it did.
Good stiff jab again from Головkin. He backs up Rosado.
You see a little Hopkins in Rosado.
Yep. He's in with a scary guy, but I wouldn't say he's fighting tentatively, but he is throwing some punches back, trying to time Головkin. The issue is when you have 11 amateur fights and your opponent had 350, in exchanges, his punches will tend to get there first.
Yeah, and you can see the difference between just how fluid these guys are. And that speaks to the late start of Rosado and the over 350 amateur fights of Головkin.
And Головkin, he doesn't get frustrated. He'll just continue to walk you down, land his jab, and eventually unleash his power shots.
Yeah, so far for Rosado, those jabs notwithstanding, his legs have done the fighting so far.
Головkin stepped in with a right as Rosado tried to get his offense going. End of round two.
When he tried to get that offense going, he got clipped.
How you feel? Good. Listen, you're doing good. moving a little bit too much. Get your shots off. Bop, bop, bop. Slap around us. Just enough to get your shots off again. Bop, bop, bop. Slide off. Bop, bop, bop. Okay? You got this, baby. You got this. Don't let this pressure carry you so much. Bop, bop, bop. Meet him with the right hand. When you meet him with the right hand, please.
We think the power jab. I think Rosado can attest that probably felt like a right hand to him.
What makes it a power jab, Andre?
Well, Головкин has his feet under him, and he just put his weight behind it. And you can see the way it landed, that it had all his power behind it.
And that opened up the cut. Referee Steve Smoger confirmed with me in between rounds that cut on the left eye of Rosado was from a punch. So the long and short of that is if that cut worsens at any point in the fight and Rosado cannot continue, it's a TKO win for Головkin. No scorecards necessary because it's not an accidental punch. It's not an accidental clash of heads. It's from a punch.
Good right hand from Rosado, taking advantage of the fact that Golovkin's head stays in the middle.
He's definitely touching Головкин because Golovkin's got some red spots on his face too. Even looks like the left eye.
Yeah, a mouse under the left eye of Golovkin.
That right hand from Головкin.
Rosado took that shot pretty well. He made a comment to us in a fighter meeting that staying relaxed is the key to taking a big shot, and he's showing that right now.
Rosado is, yeah.
Rosado.
He's limber enough to take some of those big shots. You mentioned Golovkin's power jab. Basically, any jab thrown by him is a power jab. He throws everything hard.
But you got to respect Rosado. He's a smaller man. He's giving up a lot of energy, but he's not afraid of Головkin. And I didn't get that sense in the fighter meeting either.
No, and he felt that he could physically maybe do some more things as far as movement, stylistically. Whereas he said Головkin is very good. There's a right hand from Головkin, steps in with a left, digs in with a power jab again, and rocks back Rosado. Rosado on his heels here in round 3.
Got Rosado buzzed a little bit. Rosado's got to stay focused, man. He's got to continue to do what he's been doing and not get into the machismo, because that's when he can possibly be looking at the lights.
And Головkin doesn't get frantic. He sort of stays in his game.
I don't mean stylistically or in terms of the mental makeup or anything like that, but just in terms of the reaction guys have to Golovkin's punches. He's like a middleweight Mike Tyson. Tyson's name gets connected to a lot of punchers, but he touches guys and they wobble.
There's a counter right hand from Головkin. Well, Головkin has landed some very good power shots here in round number 3. And that's the end of the round. A bloody Gabriel Rosado back to his corner. And then Gabriel's father, Encarnacion, in the corner as well.
Up and down with the jab, stepping around. Up and down with the jab. When you get him, beat him to the position. Right hand, left hook, turn again.
Eyes to eyes. Starting to get to it. Just make sure you stay busy. Good head movement, good pounding, good little quick shots until you get the one you want. Real quick shots. Okay, let's go. Deep breath.
As we start round number 4, Головkin landed 52% of his punches in the last round, 33 of 64. And he was accurate with the power as well, as we check in with Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob. 3-0, 30-27, Gennady Головkin. You know, I got to tell you something, Bob. Gabe Rosado, you know, every time I've seen him, he was a guy that comes forward, that bangs, just like Gennady Golovkin's doing now. So Головkin, in essence, is really taking Rosado out of his game. Gabe has come forward very, very, very few times. I mean, once or twice he did come forward. Once or twice he landed a few nice shots. But basically, it's that Головkin right hand, that left jab, murderous power shots. 3-0, Головkin.
And if it looks, Andre and I have both made the comment, he's not fighting scared Rosado, but if you notice he's moving a lot and not throwing a lot of punches. Головkin is a master at distance, balance. He knows how to keep his opponent's hands at home, not just because he's a hard puncher, but because he puts himself in proper position oftentimes, Andre.
And that starts with the feet. A lot of times when you see a puncher like Головкин, everybody focuses on the upper body, but I watch the feet. He's always in position. Even when he backs up, he's always in position to let one shot go, and that's what you're alluding to.
And the opponent has to honor that because of his power.
Because he's in position.
Rosado bleeding along the left eye, blood from his nose, mouth is swollen. And you can see Головкin has done tremendous work with his jab. That red, the white glove of Головkin, that left hand, is now a tint of red.
I mentioned Mike Tyson in terms of the way guys react to Golovkin's punches. I believe it was Roy Jones who said he fights kind of like Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., who was also able to exert tremendous pressure on his opponent even when he wasn't throwing punches.
He might hit a tad bit harder than Senior, and I think defensively he's a lot better. Golovkin's not a one-trick pony, and that's what I think people are kind of missing here. Is they talk so much about the power, but he's got subtle defense. He's doing some things in there that is allowing him not to take too much punishment.
And Andre, the other thing is when he is on defense, it always seems like his footwork gets him back in position to be offensive.
That's the key.
I would say the one defensive critique I have of Golovkin is his head seems to stay in the middle a bit.
You got to respect Rosado. He's biting down. He's trying to get some respect.
Bloody face of Rosado.
And when you don't move your head, it gets hit.
Oh, he got our text numbers, and you get one more chance. Головкin landed 12 of 35 jabs in the last round. The middleweight average for jabs in around 6 of 24. So he doubled the connects of the average middleweight as we start round number 5.
Meantime, Rosado ended the last round with a really good straight right hand, and Головкin has a mouse under his eye and a little blood, I think, coming out of his nose.
Step. Good.
I like the effort Rosado's showing. I mean, you got to believe in yourself. If he believes the height of Головкin, he might as well stay home and not even show up tonight.
He got Головkin nodding his approval of a good right hand Rosado just threw, acknowledging it.
They didn't try to do the old shake it off like, nah, that didn't hurt me. He said, yep, you got it. Yep.
See how Головkin does now against an opponent that he's not able to rock with one punch, or not able to floor, rather, with one punch.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, Andre and Max. When you think about this fight, Головkin has hit Rosado with some pretty good shots, and normally his opponents are gone at this point. But there's Rosado right there.
Rosado's got his fans cheering right now, snapping Golovkin's head back and having Головkin in retreat momentarily.
Rosado, fellas, nobody's invincible.
Rosado just shook off the good hard shot landed by Головkin.
There's a pretty good super middleweight right now, though, that looks pretty tough to beat.
I agree with you.
Good left hook to the body by Головkin. Rosado sticks right in there, swelling around the right eye of Головkin. Rosado a bloody mess, but hanging in there.
And as bloody as he is, there may be some middleweights around the world right now going, all right, you know what? This Головkin, I want to take my chances with this guy. Rosado's a junior middleweight moving up. He has 5 losses. And this fight ain't over.
I think Rosado should stay on his jab. He needs to pick that jab up a little bit more. That's how you give Головкин something to think about.
Final seconds of round number 5. Good stiff jab there from Головкin to end the round.
Muy bien. Now you're bending him over. You're bending him over into right little uppercut. Okay, a little 45. All right. You're bending him right over. You gotta throw it. Do it in a combination. Okay, throw it for me. All right. Deep breath. You understand what I'm talking about? Yes.
March 9th, pull up a chair for a special night of HBO boxing as we will offer up for bi-coastal night at the fights from Brooklyn's Barclays fight between Devoris Cloud and the now 48-year-old Bernard Hopkins. Then from the West Coast, it's heavyweight action as Chris Arreola takes on Romain Sterveen. Immediately following live boxing, stay tuned for the premiere of the latest installment of The Fight Game with Jim Lampley. In the 5th round, Головкin was 19 of 42 with his jabs, 45%, as he threw 80 punches in the round.
Doctor intervention.
Steve Smoger asked the doctor to take a look. Rosado said, I'm good. That cut was opened up in the 2nd round from a punch from Головkin.
Rosado's a real fighter.
Oh, good right hand on the uppercut, rock back Rosado.
He didn't see that one, fellas.
Rosado's still landing shots.
And he's still standing.
Proxa, Gennadi's debut on our air several months ago,
No behind the head. You understand? You okay,
was gone
bro?
already at this point in the fight.
You all right, baby? Huh?
Listen, time.
All right. Time.
Steve
walk
Smoger's
it
going
off.
to call a timeout.
That cut got worse, too.
Smoger's letting him walk it off the punch from behind the
Low,
head.
baby. Okay. Time.
That cut is pumping out blood right now.
Short right inside, rocked Rosado. Did not go down, though.
Rosado's taking these shots well tonight.
Said Proxa was gone already. Proxa retired. Sebastian Sylvester. And Rosado's gotten farther in the fight than he did. He's landed more punches, too.
As long as Rosado can see the punches coming, he seems to be doing okay, but it's the ones that he can't see that could end this fight abruptly. You gotta respect Rosado.
Yep, he's got that Philadelphia spirit, and he's showing it.
But he's a smart kid, too. He's just not going in there reckless. He's thinking in there, and you can see it.
11 amateur fights only, and 5 losses, and throwing punches like he means it in spite of a busted open eye.
Головkin may have punched himself out a little bit.
See Головkin with that jab trying to pick at that eye. Andre, do you think Головkin's a little bit surprised that Rosado's still standing?
I think he is. You're a guy like Головkin who's got the fanfare that he has simply about his power. Of 54-pounders are not supposed to be in there in round 6 taking the shots that Rosado's taking.
Wow, what a shot right to the mouth of Rosado. Blood just everywhere.
And on
streaming
the other
out of
hand,
the nose.
You can look and say he's not getting frustrated. Головkin's game plan and being patient.
What point do you maybe have to stop this? Look at the blood. Rosado is just a bloody mess through 6.
Huh?
What do I do?
Ted, you got to get inside with this guy. You got to get inside with him. Bang, 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 and turn him. Get inside, get your throw shots off, grab his handlebar and turn him.
I know.
You want me to stop it?
No.
Want me to stop the fight, Ted?
No, don't stop it. It's hard to see.
Listen, point that angle.
Well, Rosado wants to continue despite that left eye being an absolute mess. And now Steve Smoger will have the doctor look at it.
Billy Briscoe, Rosado's trainer, said, "You want me to stop the fight?" Rosado said no. Briscoe seems like one of these student of the game trainers out of Philly, but hasn't been at this level yet, Andre, and maybe he needed to take that upon himself and not risk his fighter there, because it doesn't look like there's a lot of quitting Rosado.
Well, I don't think it's a situation now where he needs to stop it. The cut is slightly impairing Rosado, but he's not taking a boatload of punishment. He's still got some fight left in him, so I think he did the right thing.
He does have fight left in him, boy. He's a bloody mess, though.
Eats a strong right hand from Головкин.
Blood doesn't always equate to meaning that he's taking punishment. It just looks bad.
In this case, I think it's both. And now his lip looks like it's torn open.
It might be his nose.
Yeah, I mean, that right hand in the last round, right to the face of Rosado, cracked him up pretty good. And now Головкin putting his power punches together. And I don't think anybody, good uppercut inside from Головкin, would have a problem if the Rosado camp informed the ringside physicians that they should stop the fight.
But ultimately, I agree with you, Max. A guy like Rosado, he's not going to quit. You got to help him out if he gets into a tough situation.
Seems as though his cornerman, Billy Briscoe, does care about him and knows what he's doing. But trainers and fighters sometimes come up together and reach the big stage together and learn together.
At this point, do you really feel like Rosado could muster anything, Andre, to ward off Головкin as he eats a jab right there?
I mean, that jab rolled his eyes back in his head. Rosado lost focus with his eyes from a jab.
Yeah, well, at this point, this is when I start to get concerned, is when I see a Rosado not fighting back. As long as he's fighting back, to a degree, you got to give him a shot. But right now, he's looking to survive. You may have to come in and help him out.
Yeah, and at this point, how much? He's throwing back some punches, but, I mean, nothing's really landing. And Головкin is just peppering him with shots.
And of all the guys to have to go through this against.
And they're going to stop it. The corner of Rosado stopping it. Come on. Steve Smoger's not hearing them. They throw in a towel.
Steve, get in.
Get in there. The inspector, the Rosado corner, did the right thing. They asked the inspector to step up to the top of the ropes and stop it.
Well done, Billy Briscoe. And well done, Gennady Golovkin.
At the beginning part of that round, I looked to the corner of Rosado, and they had called the inspector over. And I think they wanted to wait to see how much worse it got. And when it did, stop the fight, which is the protocol.